So normally I start off one of these videos with a welcome back to Box Office Maniacs. This one is going to be quite different because something extremely tragic has happened here at Box Office Maniacs. Something completely unexpected and really hard for me to talk about, but given that it's been 4 days since it occurred. So, as some of you already know, some of you maniacs that have gotten to know me and David quite well and have written to us occasionally on our Facebook pages and things like that, and even here on the channel you've left comments and feedback and everything, which we always appreciated. There's a few of you, that loyal maniacs out there that have written me and asking me about this. So this is going to be kind of redundant for you guys, but for all of the rest of you maniacs out there who follow us and follow this channel, I've got some grave news to give you all, and that is my forever longtime best friend and brother, because that's exactly what he was to me, was my brother and co-host of this show, David Graves, has passed away. He unfortunately got sick and went into the hospital and never recovered. And that happened last week. As of Saturday, he passed away. Obviously, like I said, there's been a lot of people writing me and asking me asking me, of course, about the show and what's going to happen with it. Well, I'll get to all that in a second. I just want to first address that, the whole thing with what happened to David. And what it was is that he had pancreatitis. I think I'm saying that right. Pancreatitis. And he actually did a video a couple years ago when it first hit him. And he went into the hospital for a couple days, and then they gave him medicine and antibiotics or whatever they gave it to him, and he recovered, came out of it, luckily, came out of it. And then a few months later, it struck again. He went back into the hospital, same thing, he came out of it. Well, as of Wednesday of last week, it struck again, and I guess this time it struck hard enough that, David's full-time job, he worked at a hospital in St. Louis, Missouri, where he lived. And he's been one of these, literally been one of the essential workers. He's not one of the frontline people, but he was an essential worker. He had to be there during the whole coronavirus thing. And he often mentioned that on his Facebook page about how he's working and having to be there, and where everybody else not having to be at their jobs, or unfortunately unemployed, or whatever had happened to him, because his wife was actually one of those that was unfortunately found herself unemployed after the coronavirus. So he had to go to work. Well, he had gone into work, and apparently it struck him while he was at work. So he left his job that he was doing and then went straight down to the ER and was admitted into the hospital. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details about everything that happened, but let's just put it this way. He passed quietly, and I got the news on Saturday morning, or Saturday afternoon is when I actually got it. And man, that was hard. I'm still, obviously, still reeling from it. I still can't, I can't fathom it, because what some of you know, but what most of you don't know, is that when I say he was my forever best friend, when I say he was a brother to me, I mean that. I mean that with all sincerity, because I met him, well, let's put it this way. The origins of this show started when I met him in grade school. I met David Graves, I believe it was 3rd grade. And literally the first thing that we talked about was the movie Popeye with Robin Williams. That was it. That's the origins of this show. That's where all of this has stemmed from, was that. And it was 2 kids sitting at a lunch table in school talking about Popeye. And it just went on from there. That was that was our friendship. I mean, that's where it all started. That's where our relationship, our brotherhood started, from that moment. And that's what we did with each other. We would go see movies, we'd talk about movies, we'd go see movies together, we'd stay over at each other's houses and watch movies, and even way back then we were the Siskel and Ebert for our families, you know, and we would just back and forth about different films and different movies, and not just films and movies, but also video games, action figures, you name it, everything, pop culture, pretty much. Whether it be Disney, whether it be horror movies, whether it be science fiction, and of course we loved Star Wars and Star Trek, and we were big nerds, no doubt, but we loved the movies, we loved films, and we loved talking about them. So all of that finally transpired into, once websites started popping up everywhere and the internet was growing, and we decided to start a web page, which was Front Row Review. And we started this web page where we actually literally wrote out all our reviews, and we were actually bloggers before there were bloggers. That's literally the way it was. It was like we did a podcast without actually being a podcast. We did, we did vlogging before it was actually vlogging. So it all stemmed from there, and it became what it is, Box Office Maniacs. Eventually, once we started changing the show and adding green screen and adding graphics and things to the show, that's where it started to become Box Office Maniacs. We changed the name. And I mean, it's just, that's it. That's our origins. That's what all this stemmed from, was us talking about movies back and forth. And the way we wanted to do the show was obviously to keep the whole at the movies with Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel. Those were the two guys that we kind of patterned ourselves after with this show. I guess that's the best terminology for it. And that's kind of what we looked at it with this, but obviously we wanted to add humor and add a lot of, fun to all of this. So of course, for all of you that found out that David had passed away on Saturday, almost immediately I was getting the question, what's going to happen to the show? What are you going to do about the show? How are you going to do the show? Are you going to do the show? I mean, and it was pretty consistent with all of you. Even those who just sort of watched our show was asking that. On top of also, what can we do for you, Vince? How can we help you? Well, here's what I need you guys to do. And I'll be very honest with you, I wasn't thinking that at first. I mean, the show wasn't even coming into my head because I've been, my God, my friend's gone, the whole time, and I wasn't thinking of this at all. I wasn't actually even thinking of doing this right now. But today would have been David's 50th birthday, as a matter of fact. Today, August 19th, 2020, is David's 50th birthday. And here I am with the question of what's going to happen with the show. Well, one of you actually answered this for me. And I do appreciate it very much. A lot of you actually answered it, but one person in particular said to me, and it did strike me right here, was, don't go dark. Keep the show. Keep doing the show. Continue it. David would have wanted you to do that. Well, here's my decision. I'm going to keep the show. I'm going to continue the show. I'm going to do my best to continue the show. So, and I do believe that David would want me to do that. But this is where the part where everybody's asking me, what do I need? How can you help me? You guys can help me. All of you can help me by watching the show, by subscribing to the show, by viewing the show, watching the show. Give me views, give me subscribers, give me feedback, give me likes, hit the little bell every time I put up a video so that you know when the videos are up. Just like I've said on every video for the last umpteen years here. We've been doing this show for almost 13 years now. David and I were doing this show for almost 13 years at this point. And I want to continue it. I want to keep doing it because David and I loved doing this show, as well as our sister show, the It Figures, where we reviewed figures, action figures and things, and movie-related toys and things like that. So I want to keep both shows, and I want to keep them both going. But to do that, I need subscribers. I need people to reach out and subscribe and get your family and your friends to subscribe, and those family and those friends to keep subscribing, get their families and friends, and keep it going. That's what I need you guys to do. And I'm being completely honest when I say this, is that I can't do it without you guys doing that. Because when you guys watch the show, and you subscribe and you watch the show, the more you watch it, the more views I get. Obviously, we get paid. That's how YouTube works. So, the more you guys do that, you want to donate. If you want to donate, that's the way to do it for me. So that's what I'm asking you to do. To honor David and to help me, please do that. David would have wanted it that way as well. And that's why I'm continuing with the show, because he would want it to flourish. He would want it to grow. He would want it to become more. He wanted that for a long time. And I wanted that for a long time. So for me to continue it, that's what I need all of you to do. And I'm being, like I said, I'm being completely honest and completely sincere here. So that's how you can help me. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be very, very weird, because David and I, obviously, we had a kinship. We had a relationship that I bounced things off of him, he bounced things off of me, and that's how this worked. And even sometimes our bloopers, we left in the show for all to see, because they were just as entertaining as watching whatever movie we were reviewing. So we left a lot of that in here. So there are, well, let's put it this way. We were working on Horror Month for this year. That's what we were currently doing. It was Horror Month. We had just finished our 13th review for Horror Month Tuesday night. And that was the last time I spoke to David. That was literally the last night I got to hear his voice. Was that night. Last Tuesday night. And I do plan on doing the reviews that we've already done. I do plan on showing what we've already worked on and putting all that together for all of you. So, but from there, it's going to be me, mostly. And yes, it's going to be strange because it's just me. But I'm going to do my best. I will do my best that I can do. Because, I also look at it as being, it's almost as if it's the Three Stooges without Curly. You know, it's the Ghostbusters without Harold Ramis. It's, you know, it's not having, it's Cheech without Chong. I mean, even though those two aren't gone, but I mean, it's literally that. It's like having that other person not there, and I know it's going to be strange, is all I'm saying. And in no way do I think I'm anywhere near the Three Stooges or anything, but or the Ghostbusters or anything like that. But it's I'm just saying that dynamic, that part of it it's going to be strange. It's going to be weird for me, but I'm going to do my best, and that's what I can promise you. So all of you, please hang in there with me. Please hang in there with me. And like I said, if you want to help, that's one of the best ways to help. The other thing is, we usually put down in the description box below, we put down links to actual merchandise that we do sell, like the shirt I'm wearing, the Box Office Maniacs shirt I'm wearing. You can buy cell phone cases, You can buy, I believe there's magnets and stickers or something like that. That's another way to help out the show. That's another way to help us out. You can go there and support us by buying a Box Office Maniacs t-shirt, buying a cell phone case, buying a coffee mug. That will help out a lot as well. I'm also going to put down in the description box, because there was a GoFundMe page that was started to help out David's wife. And I'm going to put the link for that in the description box as well. So if you want to donate to help her out, that'd be great as well. You can do that by clicking on the link below. So here we go. We're going to start a new chapter of Box Office Maniacs. It's going to be strange without David around. He was a huge part of the show. He did a lot of the animations and a lot of the like the intros and the outros. The all the animations that you saw. I mean, that was a lot. That was David. David did a lot of that, and he always wanted me to kind of take over for that and help him with it, which I was never opposed to doing, except for one thing. I didn't have the program that he had. He did that, and this again, that's where you guys watching the show, and you guys by watching the show and getting me paid, that's where I can use the money. That's where I can put the money into buying the programs and buying the things I need for the show, and that's where it will go. You won't be donating it to me. You'll be donating it to the show, actually. So, and that would help out a lot. It really would. So that's where we are right now. And as for my friend, of course, I miss him terribly. Terribly miss him. And I've often said this to other people when they lose somebody, that this isn't over. And to quote a line from Star Wars is, no one's ever really gone. And I believe that. And I've often said to others that have lost someone, or that someone's passed in their lives, that it's not goodbye, it's see you later. And I know that too. I'm going to see David again one day. And we're going to probably talk about all the movies that we missed. So, you know, the one thing that does make my heart happy is that I know that he's probably with my mom, and my mom's taking care of him. I know that. So, I'm going to miss him a lot, and I know all of you are going to miss him a lot. And this is going to be hard, and it's going to be tough. But as long as I have you guys supporting me, and I don't mean just monetarily, I mean supporting the show, coming here and watching the show, as long as I have you guys doing that, I can do this. I can do it. I can get through it. So please continue to support Box Office Maniacs. Please continue to support It Figures, which is our other channel. Please subscribe to both of these channels. And okay, so I'll see you all real soon. I love all our maniacs. David loved all you maniacs. We love all our maniacs here at Box Office Maniacs. And I'll be back real soon. Obviously, I'm going to take a little bit of time here to mourn the loss of my friend, my best friend, my brother. And I'll be back as soon as I can. And the show will go on.